Wrestling fans, you've tuned in once again to the following contest. This is our TNA review for March the 17th, 2011. Before we start the show, I'm just going to let everybody know that Jason is actually on a mini vacation, and he should be back around the time for our Monday Night Raw review. Let's get right into it. A lot of stuff happened on Impact, and this is definitely one of the better Impacts, especially coming after such a disaster of a pay-per-view. First of all, Sting debuts the new TNA World Heavyweight title. It looks better than the Jeff Hardy belt, but I still don't understand why don't they just get the belt that Eric Young sometimes wears. Anyway, he comes out, cuts a promo, blah, 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 blah. I'm Sting. I have the belt. I hate Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair and whatever. And Hogan and Bischoff come out. And they're all like, hey, you robbed Jeff Hardy. And Sting takes the purple belt, the Jeff Hardy belt, and literally throws it at Hulk Hogan and says, this is all that's left of Jeff Hardy. And I think that speaks a lot. It speaks a lot for the company. It speaks a lot to the fans. It speaks a lot about Jeff Hardy's situation that happened at the pay-per-view, him just not able to perform. So he throws the belt at Hogan, and Hogan almost throws it backwards. During all of this, he said, she said, blah, blah, blah. Bubba Ray Dudley comes out and tries to become a legitimate number one contender or someone that's in the main event. Well, in the middle of all his shtick, Fortune comes out all together. AJ Styles says he's going to be the number one contender, and Fortune also says that they got Sting's back. So they're friendly with each other, I'm guessing. In the middle of all this chaos, who's number one, blah, blah, blah. Kennedy comes out. He wants a rematch. Of course he does. So they set up the main event, which we'll get to in just a little bit. Next, we're going to visit the, I don't know what you might want to call it. There's really not a name for it, but Madison Rayne has been challenging all of these older knockouts that we just haven't seen for a while. And it's a real shame that for TNA this week, they brought back Alyssa Flash, who I think is one of the top female wrestlers in America right now, whether it be in Ring of Honor or Indies or past TNA or what have you. And she got attacked at the start of her entrance. Madison Rayne jumped her from behind, threw her in the ring, hit her move, and it was over before it even started. I don't even know why would she agree to do that. I don't even know why TNA would allow that to happen to someone that's got so much talent like Alyssa Flash. Terrible, terrible idea. The next thing was kind of disturbing in a way. We see the Pope is now healing people. Makes a blind guy see. Someone that's in a wheelchair, all of a sudden they're walking. There was a fat lady that he couldn't make skinny. He didn't have enough power, whatever. Samoa Joe comes out, and D'Angelo Dinero, Elijah Burke, pulls out a knife on Kato and drags him down the entrance ramp with a knife on his throat. And I'm sitting there like, wow, I don't think anyone's done this before. This is nuts. Well, we come to find out that it is a toy knife. So Elijah Burke kind of stabs himself in the neck, and you can see that it's a toy blade and it pushes in. When we come back from commercial break, he's got Kato chained up and tortured. He is torturing him like something you see in a movie with terrorists or a horror movie. He's torturing him and yelling at him, making him feel scared. I mean, it was stupid and crazy. Samoa Joe comes and cannot even untie Kato. It was so stupid. Later on, we saw Double J, Jeff Jarrett, have a peace offering with Kurt Angle, and in turn, he got an American flag guitar smashed over the top of his head. Now, something interesting. We know that Abyss has been dead for a while. We've talked about it on the show many times before. They've mentioned that he is unable to defend his title, so we have a triple threat match featuring all Immortal wrestlers, including Gunner versus Murphy versus the Freak Rob Terry. This was a breakout match for Gunner, who kind of debuted a new personality, kind of like a psychopath. He went over very fast, he went over very clean, and in a way it was a squash for him. Something that he did that I haven't seen anybody do before, I don't think. Raising his hands in victory, holding the belt in his teeth, like biting the belt. I didn't understand it, but the TV title is back on television, ladies and gentlemen. Main event time. We saw Rob Van Dam versus Bubba Ray Dudley versus AJ Styles versus Ken Kennedy. Now, the winner of this goes on to become the #1 contender for Sting's heavyweight belt at the next TNA pay-per-view for a one-on-one match. The match was ridiculous. There were just a lot of bad spots, but it ended in a double pin. It came down to Rob Van Dam and Ken Kennedy. A really, really stupid idea. They did a kind of like a back suplex on a chair. The referee saw it. The referee for the main event was Earl Hebner. He counted 1, 2, 3, but they landed in a double pin situation. Jeremy Borash came out to get the final decision from Earl Hebner, and before Earl Hebner can tell Jeremy Borash, Bubba Ray Dudley, who at the time is outside with AJ Styles, decides that he is going to clock Earl Hebner. And for whatever reason, he knocks out Jeremy Borash as well. Now, during this whole time, Kennedy and Rob Van Dam are completely out in the middle of the ring on that steel chair that they did the back suplex on. We see after this, AJ Styles and Bubba Ray Dudley kind of just brawl it out all the way up to the entrance, where Bubba Ray Dudley did something he hasn't done in years. The Bubba Bomb. We've seen it in ECW. We've seen a lot of former WWF divas take it off the turnbuckle through a table. He put AJ Styles through a waiting table off of the entrance down to the concrete. The fans went ballistic. We heard TNA chants. We heard claps once AJ Styles got on a stretcher. They took about 10 minutes to get AJ Styles up and out into the ambulance. On a side note, we also saw Brooke Hogan come out. I guess she hangs out during certain Impact tapings. I'm really not sure. But the fans absolutely loved it. And I love because we actually saw some emotion from the people in the Impact Zone for once. People were crying. People were watching in amazement. People were shocked. People were worried, scared, hurt that AJ Styles was in a bad way. They take out AJ Styles to the ambulance waiting for him. We see other members of Fortune scared to death, absolutely worried for their friend AJ Styles. And that's how Impact ended. We saw AJ Styles getting taken out to the ambulance. Now, since Jason isn't here, I can't ask him what he thought about Impact. Out of 5 stars, I would give Impact 4 stars. I liked a lot of different things that they did tonight, especially bringing back the television title without Abyss. I don't think we're going to see really Gunner do anything big with it, but at least it's on TV, and now they can have matches with people that actually deserve a shot at that belt. Like your Jay Lethals, which we always talk about on the show, that never gets any more TV time. I would give it 4 out of 5 stars. Check back next week. We'll have a Monday Night Raw review. and you can always comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. You've got the following contest. We'll see you next week.